Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us today in the webinar titled AI-Powered Finance, Close Faster, Forecast Smarter. We have a few interesting sessions planned for you over the next 45 minutes, including a live NetSuite ERP demonstration, a customer success story about a recent NetSuite implementation at SHI India, and an expert Q&A session where you can ask any questions related to NetSuite ERP to our panel of experts. We believe today's webinar will primarily help you to understand the power of an advanced cloud ERP like NetSuite. During this session, at any point of time, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions into the chat or on the QA window. You can find these options on top of the menu of the Teams application that you have logged in or on your Teams browser. So without any further ado, I would like to call upon Siva Kumar Natarajan, Channel Sales Director, South India at NetSuite to kick off the webinar. Thank you, Siva. Over to you.
Thank you, Anirban. Very good afternoon to everyone. It's my privilege to welcome you all for this webinar titled AI Powered Finance for Smarter Forecast and Faster Closure. In terms of your books, it's my privilege to be here as part of the webinar that we have scheduled today. My name is Siva Kumar Natarajan. I'm primarily managing the entire business for NetSuite in the southern region, operating out of Bangalore. It's great to connect with each one of you. And if I just have to quickly let you know in terms of my experience, I have about 3 decades of experience in providing solutions to the small and medium enterprises, high growth industries, and also in terms of enterprise. So that's me in terms of my profile, and joined NetSuite in 2022. And the good news is that we have been working with a lot of organizations where we are part of their growth journey and they are part of our growth journey. It's very encouraging to see in terms of how our solutions are getting adapted in their respective organizations in their growth journey. And today we have, as Anirban said, we have a series of Power Pack sessions that we have for you, very nicely curated, which will be absolutely relevant at this age and time of the in this time period. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sessions. I'm 100% sure that you will have a lot of good takeaways, and we'll be more than happy to kind of address any of the questions that you may have, so that like at the end of the session, you have the inputs that what you require is available to you. Thank you. Without much ado, back to Anirban to take the proceedings forward.
Thank you, Siva. Moving on to the next session, the one I'm sure that all of us have been waiting for, the NetSuite implementation success story. Let us hear from Vijay Wadhi about his experience with NetSuite ERP implementation. Over to you, Vijay.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm here now. We just finished our journey of implementing, and I'll share whatever we have gone through and experienced. But just to get you all in the right context so that you understand what I'm speaking and where I'm coming from, let me give you a quick background or introduction to what we are, what we do, and what we want to do ahead. So SHI India was earlier known as Locus Enterprise Solutions. We started this company about 25 years ago. And in our 24th year, we were acquired by a US-based company, which is SHI International Corp. And therefore, now we have become SHI India because of the acquisition. We are into IT services, IT. We have 2 parts of our business, I would say. One is that we provide IT solutions, infrastructure solutions to our customers. Customers are both corporate as well as government. And we provide a lot of IT services now. IT services is an equally big business for us. And the customers for IT services can be anywhere in the globe. So we have customers, a lot of customers in India, of course, and many customers who are outside India, mostly in the US. And now we are also setting up our own global delivery center, which will be only catering, because that's a growing business, to our global clients with which we are accessing through SHI's US customer base. Speaking of SHI US, SHI US is a very large organization. They are $17 billion in terms of revenue, present across many continents. And this acquisition, India, was primarily done for them to be present in India for their India growth, as well as to provide services to their customers from India, which we were doing earlier. So with this background, so when I speak, you will be able to understand where I'm coming from, what were our challenges, and how this has been helping us. Before I go further to the next slide, let me also give you a little brief on what exactly CEOs and CFOs are looking for in organizations which are fast scaling up, which are growing, which are in a competitive industry. So they all require, all the CEOs want zero time to insight. When I say zero is, let me be more pragmatic. When I say zero, please understand as near zero. That means in the real time. So as fast as possible, they want all the insights which can help them to decide whether the strategies that they are trying to implement are working, or whether they need to tweak and do something different to get their outcomes. Now, if a CEO wants a zero time to insight, basically what a finance system or a finance department needs to do is a zero time to close. That means you need to, when your period is over, your month, your quarter is over, you have to close your books as quickly as possible, so that your reports are ready and available to all the decision makers to take further decisions on that. Now, while you want to close your systems very quickly, zero time to close, as I was saying, the CFO will also want zero errors. He doesn't want the system to be closed when there are errors and they come out later after closing, which can be very poor for the whole finance department. So you want to have real-time closure, but without any errors. And to achieve that zero errors, you need to have something, we call it as zero touch processing, in the sense you don't have to enter too many times. Once the data is entered, it flows seamlessly in a workflow, and so it minimizes your chances of making any errors. Now, with this background, let us see how we went through the journey. So when we started off, as any organization which starts small, we grow, you have your constraints of your resources, your people, your money. So how do you grow? You grow with smaller systems. So we had Tally as our financial engine. So we were using Microsoft Dynamics for our CRM, which had all the CRM related processes and data. Of course, the ubiquitous Excel, which is there in every organization, was very, very, very important for us in every field, for all reporting, for all data. A lot of data was in the Excels. In fact, to tell you, frankly, our entire sales order was maintained in Excel. And when I'm talking sales orders, we get 1,000 orders in a year. And those 1,000 orders were maintained in Excel till execution and reporting. And it was no small job. It was getting highly unstable, and it was becoming prone to errors. We were using some other SaaS tools like Capitex, which was more for our AR management. And there were also a couple of silos which we did for managing other small processes. But yeah, the issue with having all these things were they were not connected seamlessly. It was not one system. Now, when I'm saying one system, the data that was there in all would not match. You may have a customer which says SHI India Private Limited. In another database, the customer would be SHI India PRIVAT, full name Private Limited. And that would mean two different customers. So when you try to collate such kind of data, you're not going to get proper reports. So that's what we mean by saying there was no single version of truth, no single source of truth for the data. They were all lying in different parts of the system, and it took a lot of effort to build those reports, and the closure for every month was much slower. After the acquisition, it was very important for us that we close our books absolutely on time and report, because the entire global from all the countries, data had to be consolidated and presented to the leadership in the US, the corporate, in their time frame of 10th or whatever the next month. So therefore, it was very critical that we close our books very quickly and provide accurate data to our corporate, which can be consolidated and shared them. So these were our challenges when we wanted to, which what required us to look at an ERP to make a seamless one system which would automate not only our processes but our closures without any errors. I'll go to the next screen. So what we were doing now, before I come to what the journey actually looked like, let me also tell you, uh, this was not our first attempt at ERP. We had attempted earlier and we failed. And a failure gives you a lot of lessons. We learned what to do this time so that we don't fail again. So very importantly, what we did was we had our own, we took a program director, a seasoned person who had experience in the ERP. We had them in our as a consultant for us during the project phase, so that he could guide us and be available with us to ensure that uh, we are not cutting corners or doing wrong things, and make sure that we are not going to fail once again. Now, failure can be in two ways. Failure can be that someone is attempting and then they just drop it and saying they are not able to proceed. Or it could be that the project gets delayed and your closure, if you miss your 31st March deadline, it means that you lost a full year. Now you'll be implementing a full system only the next 31st March, because you may not want to have two systems, a system change in the middle of the year. So we also went through these challenges. So how do we need to do it? First is sit down peacefully, write down your objectives. Why do you want the ERP? What do you want the ERP to do? Unless you have a very clear objective, you cannot go to the next step. And so be very clear, document everything, use resources like your Gemini, your ChatGPT, your Claude. They'll give you so many ideas of how an ERP can put all your make you better than whatever you are. Choose your objectives. You may have your own nuances. Your business will be different. All businesses will be different. What is it that makes you ahead of others? Write down those objectives, whether it is reducing errors, whether it's reducing or gaining speed, or whatever it is. Put it down. Then go to the next step of preparation. Make sure that, this is a step that we also did not anticipate would take much time, but it really takes time because, as I was telling earlier, our database were in different formats, and the two from different, if I'm collating, they were not matching because somewhere you had private limited as PVT, somewhere you had the full private, somewhere you had PVT with a dot, limited with a dot. So all these issues crop up when you're trying to clean your database, and only a clean database can go into your new ERP system, because there you can't have two different names. A customer is only once, and it'll identify with this GST, with number, with all the other parameters that are required. So you have one clean base that has to go into the ERP. This took a lot of time for us, and you will also, before you go to the journey, make sure that you spend time or be ready with this, having your database ready. Completing that, then your partners come into the place, and they will do. Before your partners come into place, they will spend a lot of time with you to ensure to document everything, that the way your processes run, the way your reports have to be generated, the way your MISs need to be done. So then they will configure the system. NetSuite is a very, very, very open kind of a platform, and you can do wonderful things with many things around that. But to do that, you will have to configure the system, and in certain places, you may even have to write code, special, build your programs for your requirement, which may be different, which NetSuite may not have. I would give you a small piece of advice here. Try and accept global best practices into your system rather than putting your systems and trying to customize it, because we have grown in our own way, but there are better ways of doing things. So keep your mind open, accept global best practices, and try to make that into your system. Once you've done that, then the next stage, of course, is your adoption, where risk, your financial governance and your financial policies and all that are put in place. And this is where you involve your internal auditors who would also want to tell you how the system has to be done and what kind of roles people have to be given so that the financial controls are properly put in place. So did I miss? Sorry, yes. So once we went the journey, I mean, and was it smooth? Of course not. There were times that we had estimated a week, but it takes 3 weeks. So keep some buffer. And in fact, we had to rush through in the end because we did not want to miss the 31st March, the year-end date. So it was kind of a time where we had to, our team literally not only were burning their midnight oil, but they were around the office on all the weekends. So we literally shut our operations of financial system for about 3 weeks. We planned for 2 weeks, but it took 3 weeks. And in that 3 weeks, so we had to literally put everything in place and then roll out, cleanly. So now what do we have? Finally, we have one single source of truth for all our data. We can vouch that what we are getting in the report is true. We don't have to look at any skepticism and any doubt whether what I'm seeing is correct or not. The system gives you accurate data. So we have put in O2C, that is order to cash, payment to procure to pay, and your record to reporting systems in place, our billings, our revenue because we are a service industry and we have different types of revenue recognition methods and policies. So all that has been codified and they have been configured. So everything happens now automatically. The book closure happens on the last day or the next day of the month. All the entries are passed. Our workflows and our role-based systems ensure that there's a smoothness and there's error-free entry that we are doing, and we are able to provide real-time dashboards to our customers, to our executives, to our managers, to our leaders who need to decide further what to do. I think I've overshot, but I try to finish whatever that I had to say. Thank you so much, and if there's any questions to me, I will be glad to take. Over to you, Anirban.
Thank you so much, Vijay. This was definitely an insightful session for all of us on this webinar. Yes, as Vijay rightly said, this is a time, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions as we proceed with the next sessions in the webinar. So we have heard the customer's journey from SHI India, right? Now let's see the platform in action. So here comes Mithilesh B, Solution Architect at Oracle NetSuite, and he will lead a live NetSuite ERP demonstration for finance requirements. Over to you, Mithilesh.
Thanks, Anirban. So good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to give you a brief overview about the NetSuite, and also you get to take a look at how NetSuite looks like. So NetSuite was the first ERP that was completely architected on cloud. We were born on cloud, right? And we are spread across more than 215 plus countries. Worldwide, we have more than 44,000 plus clients. We are a SaaS-based ERP, and all you need is an internet connection and a browser. You can access NetSuite. And we also have mobile apps for both Android as iOS, so that you can access NetSuite from your mobile devices, right? And much of your productivity can be done on the go. You can start looking at your KPIs, your matrices. You can also start approving transactions from your mobile devices. And we have hosted NetSuite on our own infrastructure, that is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, and we provide high availability, and our uptime is close to 99.97%. And we have all the security compliances in place to ensure your data is safe with us. So in India, we have two data centers, one in Hyderabad and the other one in Mumbai, right? So both provide high availability to our clients. And some of the services that we provide behind the scenes. We ensure we continuously do all of these testings so that your database is safe and there is no any anomaly that is detected. So when it comes to the financial functions in NetSuite, right? NetSuite, first of all, being a platform, we call the platform a suite cloud platform. So basically, we are a no low code, no code platform, and many of the customizations can be done by just point and click customizations. So the financials is the core. We also have a CRM that is part of the platform. We have supply chain management, manufacturing, professional services automation, and also other solutions, which is part of the built for NetSuite solutions. These solutions are basically built by our plethora of partners that are that have created unique solutions on NetSuite. And the platform is also capable of handling multiple subsidiaries, multiple country tax compliances come inbuilt, and multi-currency is also enabled on the platform. Now, when you are on NetSuite, you always get to stay on the latest version of NetSuite. We don't have any customer who's using an older version of NetSuite. So every client of ours is being upgraded to the latest version. And every year we have two rollouts, one in the beginning of the year, and the second rollout is towards the end of the year. So any new features, new functions is automatically rolled out to our clients. Now let's look at the product. I'm just gonna switch. I hope you're all able to see my application now.
Yes, Mithilesh.
Great. So if you notice, I've just logged in using a simple Google Chrome browser, and NetSuite is a role-based application. So I've logged in as a financial controller, right? Now, the moment I log in, I can look at the dashboard, which is configured as per my role, right? I can look at the subsidiaries that I have access to. I can look at the KPIs and matrices, right, which are relevant to me. And I can also see some visual dashboards. Now, these KPIs and matrices are showing the comparison between my current month versus my previous month, and also what is the change in percentage, right? Now, this can also be current quarter versus previous quarter as well. And to set it up, I don't have to reach out to any administrators, or I don't have to reach out to my Oracle partner or Oracle. I can just go ahead and click setup, and I can change the range by myself. It can be current quarter versus previous quarter, or current quarter versus the same quarter in the previous financial year, right? And all of this that we are looking at is at a consolidated level. Now, let's just say I want to see the information for one of the legal entity. I just click on the legal entity that I want to see the information for, and there you go. Within seconds, my system has refreshed and I can see information pertaining to the legal entity that I've selected. You'll also notice the change in currency from USD to British pounds, right? Now, this feature is available across the platform, right? And on the left panel, I also see some reminders. So basically, the system is going to notify the user or remind the user, hey, you've got so many action items from your end that needs to be completed, right? And it also gives me a RAG status, that is the red, amber, and green, so that I can prioritize the tasks which need to be completed from my end, right? So the red ones have to be closed out as soon as possible. I can see some invoices that are overdue, right? I can follow up on those. The green ones probably have been just created, a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 days ago. Maybe the red ones are, 6 days overdue, right? So these are SLAs that can be configured basis your company's requirements, right? So the system notifies the user, like, for example, there are some bills to pay, there are some approvals to be made, right? There are some journal vouchers that have been on my desk, sitting on my desk for my approval, right? And I can choose to approve them in multiple ways. I can approve it from here. I can also approve it from my email, and I can also approve it from the mobile devices, right? So these are multiple modes from which I can approve the transactions. So we've talked about the dashboard. We've looked at the KPIs and matrices. Now, NetSuite comes with 300 plus KPIs and matrices, but if there is something unique to your business, we can always configure those at the time of implementation, right? You just give us the formula and we'll be able to configure that for you. And we also have role-based users. So we've got pre-configured roles. And this also helps us in reducing the implementation timelines as well. But the roles that we provide are fully configurable roles. And even as a single user, you can wear multiple hats in the organization, right? So we can have one or two roles for the user, depending on the role that they play in the organization, right? And like I was saying, we've got standard out-of-the-box BI components, but if there is something that you require, we can always build this. And even after implementation, you or your own IT team can also do this because, like I said, everything that we do is going to be from the front end. We are a no-code and low-code platform, so all of the configurations can be done from the front end. We also have a workflow engine within the application, right? So any of your business process can be configured. For example, you have an approval matrix. Depending on the transaction value, you would have probably multiple levels of approvals, right? So those kind of use cases can be configured using this workflow engine. And these are, again, drag and drop components, right? Now, in NetSuite, we have a very robust reporting tool wherein you can configure or customize the reports by yourself, all drag and drop components. You can export the reports into multiple formats, and you can also schedule the reports. So let me just show one of the reports. I'm just going to quickly change my role and access a report. So these are some of the reports that I have access to. I'm just going to pick up an income statement. Now, this income statement that we are looking at is at a consolidated level. And I can slice this report into multiple ways, right? So I have, subsidiary-wise filter available here. If I want to look at it for a particular subsidiary legal entities, I can do that here. Or if I want to look at my income statement by the business units, right? I can always do that. So I'm now looking at the report by business dimension wise, right? So I have got multiple filters and I also have a AI generated insights available here. Now the system is going to look at the top 5 findings and here we are. So NetSuite has given me top 5 findings from this report that we are looking at. Okay, so AI is now embedded across the platform and our clients can go ahead and leverage these functions. Now, like I mentioned, we are a no-code, low-code platform. The platform is also capable of integrating with other applications as long as they can handshake with NetSuite using web services or APIs. And there's also a platform wherein our clients can do some developments as well. And we have many partners who build solutions on top of this platform as well. So earlier I've talked about built for NetSuite solutions, right? So we've got 600 plus partners and they all build unique solutions on NetSuite. So industry-based applications that are built on NetSuite. And this sit on top of NetSuite layer, right? Meaning you don't have to access multiple platforms for you as a user. It's going to be only one login and one platform. Now let's look at the financial functions in NetSuite. So NetSuite is like I mentioned, it's a multi-country and multi-currency platform. So today you're in India, where you operate your books in Indian rupees, but you would also want to have other legal entities across the globe, and you would want to maintain them within a single instance, right? So that your consolidation can happen seamlessly. Now, let's say your parent is in the United States and the consolidation is in US dollars. So NetSuite automatically at real time consolidates your books for you. So any point in time, you'll be able to look at your consolidation in the respective country's currency and also your Indian books in the respective currencies. Right now, this is completely automated. There is no requirement of any user to do any activities on NetSuite. Now, these are some of the key financial functions in NetSuite, right? We also have, we talked about the subsidiary structures, and we also have bank reconciliation, both automated as well as manual. We have budget versus actuals, expense allocations, expense amortizations, intercompany transactions. This is typically very important for many of you who have legal entities across the globe, right? So NetSuite does the intercompany eliminations automatically. Again, right? No requirement by the financial users to go ahead and do some activities. Everything is automated on NetSuite, right? So these are some of the key functions that I wanted to highlight. Now, from our decades of years of experience, we have all the standard reports that any business or any company would require. But nevertheless, like I've mentioned, we've got a very robust reporting tool, and any of your reporting requirements can be configured basis your needs, right? So at the time of implementation, we'll take a look at your reports and we'll be able to configure all of these. So these are just a few snippets of some key reports. That is not the complete list though. And these are some KPIs and financial matrices that come as a standard out of the box in NetSuite, only for the finance users, right? Of course, there are a whole lot of KPIs and metrics that is available for other users as well. And these are some of the key reports that I've highlighted. Again, not the whole list of reports. So I would also like to cover suite projects, basically professional service automation in NetSuite. So this is very important for IT and IT services, anyone who's in the services industry, right? So here is where you can manage your end-to-end project management, starting from the CRM stage, right? Where you have a lead created, an opportunity created. The opportunity needs to be scoped by someone from the project management group, right? And once the project is materialized, you would want to secure resources by looking at their time availability, and you'll also probably look at their skill set as well, right? And based on that, you would go ahead and staff resources. And these resources can enter time and expenses, which would require further approvals by line managers or project managers. And based on the billing type, it could be fixed bid, milestone-based billing, or it can also be time and material, right? So based on these billing rules that you've pre-configured on the project, the charges are generated, and you will also be able to generate invoice out of NetSuite. So I'm just gonna show you a snippet of how the project management looks, right? So this is a project that I've created for a client, and I can also look at the project budget, the total cost of the project, the revenue, and what is my gross profit so far, right? And I can also have this project linked to a particular cost center, profit center, and there's also project manager assigned. So I can see the entire tasks and phases for the project, right? So this is an ERP implementation project. I've broken this down into multiple phases, and against each phase completion, I can also go ahead and bill my client. And I can also see the project percentage completion, right? So basically, I would be able to track the percentage completion of the project, overall project, and against which I will also be able to recognize my revenue. For example, this project is completed about 12%. So for this month, I will be able to recognize 12% of my revenue, right? So we also have a revenue recognition, which is tightly integrated with the project management and the financials, right? So every time there is let's say even your client has paid you upfront, So you would want to park that in the deferred revenue. You wouldn't recognize that revenue immediately, right? So this is completely automated in NetSuite, where you can defer your revenue and you can recognize it as and when you complete your performance obligations to your client. All right. The system also has a work breakdown structure. You can always compare your budget versus actuals. We have a project 360-degree dashboard as well, which will give you a bird's eye view of your project, right? What is your profitability at? When is your planned delivery? And you can also compare between your budget versus actuals, right? You have a baseline budget, and you can do a comparison against that as well, right? So these are some of the dashboards. And we also, when it comes to billing and revenue, you can look at what are the invoices that you've already created and how many days that have been overdue. And you can also look at the unbilled charges that is to be billed to your client. And when it comes to the financial, of course, you'll be able to look at the entire project profitability. What is the cost, the actual cost, your revenue, and what is your profit margin as well, right? So the complete end-to-end project management is available in NetSuite, where even your resources can enter time and expense, right, against these projects. And they'll not have any other functions apart from these two, right? So we give them a very light user, and they'll be able to go ahead and enter these. So yeah, this is how their UI looks like. Yeah. You can see that they have very minimal functions. They can enter expenses and they can enter time. And this is how they can enter both of these entries from their mobile devices as well. This is how it would look. You can also take a screenshot of your bills or any expenses that you incur. And these are some of the project management KPIs and matrices that come out of the box in NetSuite, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier. For revenue recognition, you'll be able to see what is your forecast of your revenue recognition, when and what time you would be, which month you would be able to recognize these revenues. And the system also gives you a breakup of what is planned, what is the total recognized amount, and what is the amount that is to be deferred. And the same would also be reflected in your balance sheet as well. The deferred revenue will show up in the deferred revenue of the balance sheet. And you can also drill down to the reports to the source level of the transactions. Yeah. So you can also see month on month, what is the percentage of revenue that you've recognized, right? So this is a detailed report of the revenue recognition against your revenue recognition plan. And these are some of the dashboards and KPIs that come out of the box for revenue recognition. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we've embedded AI across the NetSuite platform, right? So some of the things that we have today is, one is we have an MCP connector, which is readily available, and you can go ahead and integrate Claude or ChatGPT or any LLMs with NetSuite, and you can go ahead and give a simple prompt in your LLMs, which can generate dashboards and reports for you, right? And we also have other embedded AI capabilities like generative text is also available in NetSuite, wherein if you have any cases created against your clients, right? For example, there's a case that your client has given and that is created. You want to draft emails, so NetSuite is going to draft that email automatically for you, right? All you have to do is just review, and you have to provide your inputs. And we've also seen some of the financial insights that has been created in the reports. We've seen that earlier. And like I mentioned, you can also integrate any of the MCPs in the NetSuite platform. So I've got a short video. So this is how you can give a prompt in simple, plain English. You're asking ChatGPT or Claude to give you a financial snippets. So the LLMs are quickly going to analyze the data from NetSuite, and they're going to give you the inputs over here. So many of our clients are using these functions as we speak, right? The only recommendation from Oracle is that you have a corporate account with these LLMs and not a personal account. So yeah. Now, why NetSuite? We are a true cloud solution. You have all the solutions on a single unified platform. You can have multi-companies, multiple legal entities within India, outside India, maintained in NetSuite so that your consolidation takes place seamlessly. And from our decades of years of experience, we've built in all the best practices in NetSuite. So day one, you have many of the pre-built configurations and thereby reducing the total time to implement NetSuite as well. And at any point in time, we will always have an account manager assigned to our clients so that we have a direct relationship with our clients, right? And the platform is easy to extend, right? Like I mentioned, you can integrate, you can with any other platforms, you can integrate with ChatGPT and other Claude or other LLMs, and you can extract reports out of this. And NetSuite is also a scalable solution. We have clients from startup as well as unicorns who are using NetSuite, upwards of 3,000 plus users. And today you just take up a simple financials with NetSuite. Tomorrow you can scale up as your requirement or as your company grows as well. Yeah. So this is what I had to cover today. I'm open for any questions. If you do have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, so Vidalesh, I think there are a couple of questions in the chat. Right,
Okay.
one is, yeah. So mainly one is about how are we going to generate trial balance report, right, from NetSuite. So maybe you have to talk about from reporting, we have to generate financial reports, right? So you can quickly
Correct.
talk about that.
We have standard financial reports. We have your trial balance. We have comparative reports as well, balance sheet and income statements, right? These are very standard reports that come out of the box in NetSuite. I don't see the questions on the chat. Maybe
Yeah,
are there any
I
other
can read
questions?
it out. I can read
Yes,
it out, Vidalesh.
please.
So yeah, so one question, trial balance report, anyway, we spoke. So the second question is on the exchange rate. How NetSuite is getting integrated with exchange to get the exchange rates, right? So yeah.
Yes, I see the questions now. So we have a foreign exchange rate master in NetSuite where any of the currencies can be maintained, and we've integrated with HSBC and Zignite. These are the two platforms from which we've fetched the exchange rates, and these exchange rates get updated once every day, right? And you also have the option of manually updating the exchange rates as well. So both these options are available to you. Now, the next question is how can NetSuite connect project activity, billing, revenue recognition in one workflow? Yes. So we've seen the suite projects, right, where the project manager has access to NetSuite, and he or she can look at the project milestones whenever the billing is coming up, right? So the billing is generated by the project manager, but of course it has to go to the financials for verification and approval before the bill goes to the client, right? So there is a workflow that is configured. We have pre-built workflows. And of course, you can also let us know what kind of workflow you would want from your requirement perspective, and we can configure these workflows. Like I mentioned before, we have a workflow engine within NetSuite, right? The same can be leveraged to build these workflows, right? And again, revenue recognition is automated. Like I mentioned, basis the percentage completion of the project, NetSuite can go ahead and recognize revenue on the projects. I hope that answers the question.
Next is on an embedded AI, how it is going to help finance team to review the exceptions even without going to multiple reports, right? Yeah, that's the next question.
Yes. So like I mentioned, we have an exception management report in NetSuite, and that can actually show you if there are any exceptions that are generated. So the AI understands, let's say, for example, against a purchase order, there are two bills that are generated. Now, this is going to be flagged by the AI to the finance users, saying that, hey, for the same vendor, you've got two bills created, and for the same amount. So you might want to delete one of them. So this is some recommendation that the AI within NetSuite provides. And on the reports, we've also seen there's a button called Generate Insights, which can generate some insights from your financial reports. And this can give you some top 5 findings from your reports, right? So, and we also have LLM integrated with NetSuite. So you can have any of the prompts created on NetSuite, and the AI or the LLM is going to extract all these reports for you. I think these are some of the questions I see.
Yeah, one more question is again how NetSuite can NetSuite do an auto elimination entry in the company transaction? It's from Priyesh.
Yes, so NetSuite can create elimination entries. Now this process happens when you're closing the books for the month, right? So that is when all the elimination entries get generated, and we have an elimination entity created as a subsidiary, right? So that all these elimination entries can be passed on to these elimination subsidiaries. So this is completely automated. It's just a one-time setup that we do at the time of implementation, and post which all of these eliminations are handled by NetSuite themselves.
Hey, thanks, Mithilesh. Thanks, Prajisha, for taking the session. Also, we have arrived at the last session of today's webinar. And Vinay Matthew, Chief Business Officer at NexTurn, will be joining us now for the closing remarks. Over to you, Vinay.
Thank you, Anirban. Hi, everyone. My name is Vinay Matthew. As Anirban said, I am part of NexTurn, and I serve as our Chief Business Officer. I also lead our relationship with Oracle from a business go-to-market perspective. I'll just take 2 minutes. One is to offer a sincere word of gratitude, Mr. Vijay. Thank you so much. It was an excellent session, very enlightening on the journey that you have gone through in the implementation of NetSuite. Siva and the Oracle team, thank you. None of this would be possible without the collaboration and the support from your side. Mithilesh, Ankit, all of you guys. And the NexTurn team for getting this and doing a very nice job. But most importantly, thank you to all the clients and prospects and the audience who's on this call. I know taking an hour out of your day is difficult, but really appreciate you taking the time and joining today. So as I wrap up, I'll just mention a couple of things. NetSuite is a fantastic product. It is the #1 cloud ERP that is there in the market. We've seen NetSuite deliver wonders for the customers that have implemented it. So it is undoubtedly the market leader. 2, with all of this AI capabilities that are coming into the market, that are getting enabled in the product stack, obviously they are a force multiplier for NetSuite and leveraging the industry elements, etc. So it's going to take a very potent product and make it much more compelling for the industry. Finally, for us and most of us, in this industry, which is the ITS industry, we are continuing to see a tremendous amount of growth. And in that growth journey, NetSuite is a very compelling enabler, given the multi-country, multi-company suite projects, those kind of capabilities that NetSuite brings out of the market. So it's a really fantastic proposition. So if you have any follow-up questions, I hope you enjoyed the webinar today. It was informative. So if you have any follow-up questions, please reach out to me, reach out to the NexTurn team, reach out to the Oracle team. We're all here to help address any of the questions that you may have. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll say goodbye.
Hey, thanks, Vinay. I think you have pretty much summed up the formal closure of the webinar so nicely. So thank you once again, everyone. It was lovely hosting all of you. So with that, we come to the end of today's webinar. As mentioned, if you are unable to address any of your questions during the webinar, our team will follow up with you after this session. And thank you once again for being with us today, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.